So first of all, I'm a mom. I have 2 young daughters aged 4 and 3. I'm an immigrant, which means I don't have immediate family here who are willing to jump in and help me. Yes, my mom flies over from Thailand from time to time when I have to travel, but it's like once or twice a year. I have 3 YouTube channels, including this one. Another one is Lingua Marina. Another one is a vlogging channel. I have 2 Instagrams where I'm pretty regular, and I have a TikTok, and I also co-founded a company called LinguaTrip where we help people learn languages and take standardized tests. So that's already a lot. And to be honest, the mom and the immigrant part makes your life slightly different from all your friends who were born in this country or who don't have kids yet. But I came up with a system that really helps me do whatever I do and still have weekends off just for my kids, still allows me to travel. And last year I took a 6-week vacation, which I intend to do this year as well, maybe like 4 weeks. So first of all, batching tasks. But before you start every single task, before you actually do it, you also ask yourself, am I the one to do it, or what am I doing this for? But let's start with the batching part. So what I've realized, I have so many tasks during the week that require a different mindset. Sometimes I sit down and do my accounting. I create reports. I check my investments. I deal with real estate, whatever. Like there are so many documents that you have to deal with as an adult. So Monday is normally my office day. I try to film less on Mondays and catch up with my team, catch up with work. Tuesday, which is today, is my shooting day. I put my makeup on. I wear this nice dress and suit, and I will just record maybe 4 or 5 videos today. Some of them are short videos, some of them are long videos. That means that I only have to dress up once and put my makeup once, which takes like half an hour. And then I just film and film and film. Another day, I need to run around, go to a bank, do the grocery shopping, and I do it myself because I like to pick my groceries, and this is also the time that we spend with our girls. So this is something I don't delegate to Instacart or other apps. Of course, we still use deliveries, but once or twice a week I do groceries, and I also run errands on that day, which means I'm not filming. So basically, batching is very important. But the second thing is asking yourself, why am I doing this? It is always very important to have a bigger goal in mind, and also it helps you later on when you start delegating. Because delegation, if you're an entrepreneur, is everything. And this is the #1 skill you have to learn because you can't build a great company or a great channel just by yourself. You have to start delegating things. And by asking yourself, should I be doing this? Or could somebody else be doing this? Because I'm making, I don't know, $30 an hour, but I can hire somebody abroad who's going to charge $10 to $15 an hour and do the same task and save me my time and my energy. Yes, their performance might be worse than mine, or most of the time it's actually better once you learn how to hire people. But this gives you so much more mental energy. Every time I'm doing something, I'm like, oh, shouldn't my financial manager be doing this? Or like, shouldn't my social media manager be doing this? Or should I hire somebody to do this task? So delegating is super important, and we're going to talk about it. But the first step is asking yourself a question. Why am I doing this? Is this task necessary? And can it be delegated? And if it can, to whom? Maybe it's an AI app that you can delegate it to. Maybe it's a real human being, but it's very important to have this mindset. Before we dive into my favorite time management tricks, I want to take a moment to thank Folk for sponsoring this video. Folk is a CRM designed to foster genuine client connections. Unlike other popular CRM tools that can be clunky and overly complex, Folk is refreshingly simple and easy to use. They're also very transparent about their pricing, which I find particularly impressive. Folk CRM is a perfect fit for agencies, firms, or small businesses where no 2 deals are the same. They advocate for personalized, person-to-person selling over mass lead generation tactics that have become quite ubiquitous, to the point of being ineffective, outdated, and frankly, annoying. Folk helps users cultivate real connections with prospects, convert leads into high-ticket sales, and ultimately build lasting relationships with their repeat clients. Because at the end of the day, B2B is still people to people, right? And this is something I am learning as a creator. Building personalized relationship with brands that you work with is a key. My favorite feature is their Folk's Chrome extension for importing contacts from anywhere on the web. It's incredibly handy, especially when working with LinkedIn. With just one click, you can find contact details and manage your pipeline seamlessly. This extension also lets you personalize emails and schedule multi-step sequences faster. Check out the Folk CRM using the link in the description to drive new business and close winning deals. Now let's get back to the video and boost your productivity. And talking about AI apps, we're moving to my point number 2, start delegating to AI. There is one thing that we should be doing regularly, and the thing is checking what's new with AI. So first of all, Perplexity. This app, oh my God, it replaced so much for me. If I'm cooking something, I'm asking Perplexity. If I need to find a bank that has safe deposit boxes, I ask Perplexity. If I need to do research on someone before doing an interview, I ask Perplexity. Perplexity is free, and it really helps you with research. Number 2 is DeepL. And this is something I also wanted to mention with delegation part. Almost every member of my team, 80% of my team speaks Russian. I don't know. I've lived in the US for 9 years. I was born and raised in Russia, so I love speaking Russian because this is my native language. And it's really easy for me to communicate with my team in Russian. So I try to hire people who speak Russian as well. But that means they're not native speakers. Most of them are not native speakers. And that means sometimes we need to send an email in English and we don't want to hire a writer in English just for that particular email. Or we have editors in India and they speak English, but sometimes they don't write correctly. And we have a native speaker who helps us with that in our team, but we also use DeepL before asking our native speaker to check everything. DeepL is this AI tool that does translations a lot better than Google Translate. It understands context, it understands idioms. So this is something we've implemented in my team. And another app that I can highly recommend is called Gamma App. Gamma App helps you create beautiful, amazing presentations. So now I'm getting ready to shoot a video for my Lingua Marina channel, like, 20 idioms in English. I used to ask someone to do research for me. Now, not only Gamma does the research and comes up with these things, it also generates a presentation, which means that editing videos has become so much easier because it's basically my talking head and then this presentation on the right. Of course, we need a human, a native speaker to check everything. I go through presentation, but it just saves so much time and money. Delegating. Yes, I know a lot of people will be like, but Marina, I don't have money to delegate. I know, and I've started there. When we started a company, I did everything manually, from writing texts. Oh my God, now I understand, like, if we had AI when I was writing all of the texts, we would have saved so much time. But we didn't have AI back then. So I did everything from writing text to designing our website to changing everything in the CMS to marketing to selling to communicating with our partners, everything. But at some stage I realized, I could hire a translator and they charged, back then Russia prices $3 an hour, but they helped me a lot with translations. It saved me so much time. It's a gradual process, but what you need to understand is that if you're in the US especially, there are so many services and apps that help you hire abroad, which means you're paying a lower price compared to the US. You're getting sometimes better, you're getting good quality. And yes, there are certain things that are associated with hiring abroad, like how do you transfer money internationally. But there are also so many apps like Deal that allows you to transfer to any country in the world, and they deal with all of the documentation and you just have to transfer to a local American bank. There are so many companies that help you hire abroad and comply with all of the rules. But if it's just an hourly contractor that you found on Upwork or Fiverr, that also works. The thing with delegation is understanding what you're giving up when you're doing everything. So for example, if I was doing everything by myself in our company, I wouldn't have had all of these channels because it's just impossible to do everything at the same time. So delegating is not just about money. It's about mindset and learning how to do it properly. And the easiest way to start is to hire an assistant for something that is really easy to delegate. And also, when you're just starting out delegating, do not expect the person who you're hiring to just handle everything. Sometimes we're like, I'm going to hire a marketing manager and they're going to bring me $1 million in revenue the next month. Of course not. Nobody knows your business better than you. So if you're hiring somebody for the first time, do not expect them to just overperform the first month. Better make sure that you understand what kind of job you're asking them to do so you can track them, so you can understand their problems, so you can actually have an idea of what's going on. Thing number 4 that helps me with my life is that I always have something ready to eat. First of all, I live in the hills, which means every restaurant is so far away. That means I don't spend time going anywhere to eat. And DoorDash and like all of the delivery services, like we don't have too much healthy food here where I live, in the US in general. So I try to buy all my groceries, but also have something that's prepped in the fridge. For example, I would buy chicken bone broth that is ready and it's from the farmer's market and I know the quality is great. Then during the weekend when we have time, we'll chop potatoes, we will chop carrots, we will chop a lot of things and cook buckwheat, cook rice, cook lentil. And it's all all in our fridge. And sometimes I'll just make a quick bowl that basically takes 5 or less minutes to make. And I put my lentil in it. I put my greens, I put cod liver and some kimchi, and that's it. I prepare it in 5 minutes. I eat it in 10 to 15 minutes, and I don't have too much mess in my kitchen. And these bowls, they're super healthy. I started working with a nutritionist, and she helps me with recipes for all the bowls, but they're super healthy. They take less than 5 minutes to create. And the great thing is prepping everything in advance, and all of the grains and everything, they can just stay in your fridge for a week. So that helps us a lot as well. And my 5th point is that don't really follow all of the advice on the internet. So whatever I just said, try it and see if it works for you. Because I once tried to wake up at 5 a.m. because everybody told me all of the productive people do that. I ended up being so exhausted because sometimes my kids go to bed at 11 p.m. because they are overstimulated. Sometimes my daughter wakes up at 3 a.m. and cries because she's overstimulated. So I allow myself to sleep as long as my kids sleep. Sleep is luxury, and I try to get as much of it as possible, especially because it's regulated by outside factors these days. I also stopped tracking my sleep. I used to have an Oura Ring. I used to have all of the trackers. I stopped because it made me upset. I know I have to prioritize sleep and I'm doing everything for it, but because it doesn't depend on me, why in the world would I track it and feel stressed about not having enough sleep and failing to fall asleep because I am feeling so stressed? See, there is no logic there. So with every advice on the internet, be careful because we're so different. Another thing that I also realized, sometimes I watch these productivity videos and they're like, oh, you have to have everything in calendar. My trips are planned a year in advance. My whole year is planned 2 years in advance. And I'm like, I just don't like the feeling of having to go to things because they're on my calendar. Even if they're not mandatory, because they're on my calendar, they feel mandatory. So what I realized about myself, that I'm more of a creator versus a manager, and there are different types of calendars. There is a manager's calendar when everything is packed, just because this is what works best for you. For me, I like to open my calendar and see that it's free. Instead of putting everything in the calendar, I just have a to-do list, which I decide on whether I'm doing this or not, depending on how I feel in the morning. If I feel that I want to talk to a camera, then I take all of my tasks that are associated with making a video. But if I wake up exhausted from the night, I will do my finance or I will do something for my house, which is easier and requires less energy. That was it for me for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video up to the very end. If you have more tips, I would love to hear those from you in the comments down below, and see you very soon in my next videos. Bye.